Welcome to the video, guys. This is Zion National Park. I chose to fly into Las Vegas as the flights were direct, as well as easier and cheaper car rentals. I met up with a friend and we drove the 2.5 hours to the park. This is a very busy park. I want to say it's about the number 4 of the nation. We were getting up probably about 5 and 5:30 in the morning to hit the trails, and we were still not finding parking spaces. I noticed people were getting up about 4 and 4:30 heading to trails to find a spot. So if you ever decide to go here, make sure you get up bright and early with everybody else, or you might have to do some walking when you finally find a place to park. I really enjoyed this park. I would definitely come here again. I went during spring break, which is about early to mid-March. I definitely recommend going that point or even earlier, as soon as we left, they started the shuttle bus system, which runs 7 days a week from, I believe it was 8 to 6. And I've heard that there are long lines. When we left, people were lining up at 6 and 6:30 and had to wait the hour and a half just to get on these buses. So I would definitely go earlier in the year to try to beat the crowds. I've heard it's still crowded, but definitely not as bad as, mid-March. As you guys can tell, even on this trail, and it was a small trail, that there was a lot of people. So definitely get there early or do a late season. If you ever go and visit Zion Park, like all the other parks, hit up the Scenic Drive. It has some beautiful sights, some places you could stop, take pictures. Inside the park, where most of the trails are at, is only a 6-mile stretch, and they have a gatehouse so they can block off that street when there's too many people and there's just not any more space. So they'll actually shut down part of that park. You could still drive around other parts like this area that we're driving through. It's not a part of that 6-mile stretch, but there are also trails along this way too. A lot of them I don't think are marked very well, and then even some of them are currently closed due to rock slides. And so for future reference, this is 2022, so maybe at some point they'll fix those, and I would like to go back and try to hit those trails, but we'll see what happens. For that 6-mile stretch though, that's where you'll find the Narrows and Angel's Landing, which is 2 of the most popular trails in the park. If you decide to do Angel's Landing, you have to do I believe a lottery system now. They just changed that up on April 1st of 22 to help cope with all the people coming in, traveling, and checking out the park, because it's just becoming way too crowded. This is the Narrows. It is an out and back trail. You can go as far as you would like. I believe it is 8 miles one way, but if you go 8 miles up, you have to go 8 miles back. So it's just kind of as far as you would like to go. You can start from the top and go down, but that requires a permit, and you have to have special gear, as I believe you have to climb down waterfalls. So in order to do that, you have to get the permit, and the park will actually check to make sure you have the right gear and the skills and knowledge of how to scale. For this trail, we rented gear as the water was very cold. There's, I want to say, about 3 or 4 different companies you can rent from. We went to Zion Guru, where at the time, I want to say it was about $55 to rent the gear. You got the overalls, the boots, and the walking stick. Definitely use the walking stick because it is a guide to help you find your way. Because as you can tell, you can't see the bottom. During parts of the year, you can see the rocks and whatnot, but for now, we couldn't. And it also helps us find the depth, so we don't go into deeper water and get water within our suits. Surprisingly, my feet didn't get wet because of the material that is on the overalls that are on your feet before you put in the boot. My feet got a little damp because they were actually sweating. I enjoyed this trail. You would definitely need to take a dry sack to keep anything you have on you dry, especially your food, because you're going to need the snacks along the way. Because with the currents, we definitely got tired. We made about 2 miles in, and had to make the 2 miles back. By the time we were done, we were very tired. And at one point, I actually bit the dust and fell into the water. Thankfully, it wasn't deep enough to get into my suit, but make sure you use the poles. Don't use your trekking poles because the water is current is strong enough, it will actually bend your poles, and you might even get them stuck in the rocks. There was quite a few times I got that pole stuck in the rocks and had to wiggle my way out.
This is one of the spots where we bit the dust. Oh, okay. Over there. Oh shit! Now it's good, I got it. Yep. No, I'm good. I'm good. Don't go this way, guys. Let's go.
this trail is Scouts Lookout. You have to take this trail in order to get to this trailhead of Angel's Landing. There are several switchbacks, and if you're not familiar what a switchback is basically what we're doing right now. You're going zigzagging all the way up to your destination. I read somewhere that there were 21 switchbacks, but I feel there was way more than 21, and it was very tiresome. So if you decide to do this trail, take your time, take it slow and easy, because you don't want to expend all your energy before you even start the Angel's Landing, because you're definitely going to need your energy for that one, because it takes a lot of climbing. Like I said earlier though, at this point, if you would like to do Angel's Landing, you're going to have to get into the lottery system to even try to get to the trail, because it is very busy and they are trying to cope with all the people coming to the park and wanting to do Angel's Landing, because I believe it is the #1 trail of the whole park. A lot of people have talked about how scary that trail is. I did not find it very scary at all. If you do not like heights, it's probably not the best thing for you, but I did hear a lot of people that did the trail while I was hiking it that were afraid of heights, but they were glad that they did it. It's just something you're going to make sure that you have 3 to 4 points of contact between your foot on the ground, 2 hands on the chain system that they have, just to be safe. There's only maybe 1 or 2 points for a split second that I didn't feel all that safe, just because of how small the ledge was. But honestly, I would do this hike again and again because I loved it. The views were amazing along the way and at the top. So if you ever get the chance, check this one out. If you're not very sturdy with your hands, definitely make sure, or your feet as well, definitely use those chains. They are very helpful. Just be patient with people going up and down the trail. There were several times I had to wait for people to pass by, just taking my turn, and I definitely took those waits with some joy, because I loved having the break after doing all those switchbacks and then trying to climb. So as you can see here, I'm using the chains. I'm trying to make sure I have every bit of point of contact, because some points, like right here, it was slanted and I just wasn't feeling too comfortable, but not enough to make me want to stop doing the trail. It is, I believe, a half-mile one way from the Scouts Lookout to the Angel's Landing, which straight forward up at the top of that rock is Angel's Landing.
Yeah.
This is our last trail that we did at Zion Park. It's the Emerald Pools. There's a lower, a mid, and an upper pool. After this, we stayed the night and then left out the next morning bright and early to make the trip up to the next park, which is Bryce Canyon. We decided to leave early because the next day was going to start the shuttle system, and we just didn't want to do that with all the long lines. As well as the temperatures were going to start dropping at night into the low 20s, and the gear we had just wouldn't cope with that temperature. If you decide to ever go to Zion Park, a tip is that the shower system. There's no showers actually inside the park. But at Zion Outfitters, which is right across the way from the park, you can walk from your camping area. That is where the showers are at. And it's not well signed. It took us quite some time to try to figure out where the shower's at. So if you decide to go, you have to wrap around what you would think is the back of the building and down some stairs in the basement of the Zion Outfitters is where the shower's out. You have to go to a little coin machine as soon as you get in the door that I believe only took cash at the time. It took cards. It didn't take cash. You had to buy quarters to feed into the shower. It was a little expensive. If I remember right, I believe it was $5 for 4 minutes. But it was, for the most part, it was clean showers. It was a little muddy, but the water pressure was great and the temperature was warm and the showers it felt great. Another tip I want to give you guys outside of the showers is buy your food before you come to Zion Park. It is very expensive. 1 gallon of water, I believe, was about $3.50 to $4. So make sure you hit up one of the towns before you hit Springdale, which is the town right next to the park. Get that food before you hop into this place. But I want to appreciate you guys for watching the video. Hope you learned a few things about the park and what America's Backyard has to offer. And I will see you guys next time at Bryce Canyon National Park.